No, you didn't.
I did! Look, I don't want to argue about that.
Well, I'm very sorry, but you didn't pay.
Aha! Well, if I didn't pay, why are you arguing? Gotcha.
There you have it.
Is that? If you're arguing, I must have paid.
Not necessarily. I could be arguing in my spare time.
I've had enough of this.
No, you haven't.
Oh, shut up. I want to complain.
You want to complain? Look at these shoes. I've only had them 3 weeks now. They walk right through.
No, I want to complain about the man.
Complain, nothing happens. You might just as well not bother, and my back hurts. And whenever you had a fun day, look at
I want to complain. Ow!
Hold your head like this and then go, wah! Try it again.
Whoa!
Better, but wah, wah! Hold your hands here.
No!
Now.
Ah!
That's it, good!
Stop hitting me!
What?
Stop hitting me!
Stop hitting you?
Yes.
Well, what did you come in here for?
I came here to complain.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's next door. It's being hit on the head lessons in here.
What a stupid concept.
Right, hold it there.
What?
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Inspector Fox of the Light Entertainment Police Comedy Division Special Flying Squad.
Flying fox of the yard!
Shut up!
Oh!
Wah! And you! Wah! He's good. You could learn a thing or two from him. Right now, you two, me old beauties, you are nicked.
What for?
I'm charging you under Section 21 of the Strange Sketch Act.
What?
You are hereby charged that you did willfully take part in a strange sketch. That is, a skit, spoof, or humorous vignette of an unconventional nature with intent to cause grievous mental confusion to the great British public. Evening all. And you toss. Wow! That's excellent! Right, come on down the yard.
Hold it! Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Inspector Thompson's Gazelle of the Programme Planning Police Light Entertainment Division Special Flying Squad.
Flying Thompson's Gazelle of the Yard.
Shut up!
Ah!
He's good.
Shut up!
Wow! Rotten.
Good! Right, I'm arresting this entire show on 3 counts. 1, acts of self-conscious behaviour contrary to the Not in Front of the Children Act. 2, always saying it's so-and-so of the yard every time the fuzz arrives. And 3, and this is the cruncher, offences against the getting out of sketches without using a proper punchline act. Namely, simply ending every bleeding sketch by just having a policeman come in and... Wait a minute.
Hold it.
It's a fair cop. And now on BBC One, 1 more minute of Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Now, how is that for an argument?
That was a definite argument. Gotta say, I didn't totally get where they were going with the sketch, but okay, yeah, I see the point.
That is the famous argument clinic of Monty Python. That thing has been around. It was first aired in 1972. I loved Monty Python. He was probably that group was probably some of the funniest that ever came out of England as far as television.
Better than Benny Hill?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
The sketches were a little bit more highbrow. Benny Hill was just kind of, he was kind of doing it for the funny. These guys were doing it for the funny, but it was an educated funny. I just loved it. You got sketches from them like this one. You had the Dead Parrot. You had I'm a lumberjack. That's just 2 or 3. Throwing yourself at an alligator. I like traffic lights. All the skits were just hysterically funny. If you ever want to see, that was, like I said, that was called the Argument Clinic from Python. If you ever want to take and see any of the other ones, just Google Monty Python. You'll come up with hours of entertainment. Some of it's a little bit of a stretch, but every time I watched Python in the 70s, I sat all the way through it because I love the comedy. Talk about an argument. I'm not here for an argument. Oh, yes, you are. Oh, no, I'm not. Are you here for an argument, Dale? No, you're not.
That's what we do.
No, it's not. Who said that? I never said that. I'm trying to get you, Dale. I really am.
How are you going to get me? How are you going to get me? The whole purpose of the show is
The
you
art.
and I to argue about something.
The art of argument.
Whether it be a singular topic or multiple topics.
I want to show you guys a start.
But it's fun.
Because this is going to be one of the topics we have tonight. If you look, I'm going to give this about 5 minutes for anybody that's got my cell phone or any way to get a hold of me. And don't look this up. I'll know if you looked it up on the internet. But see that term right there, acidulous guano? What is that? I had to give away a prize for coming up with that.
I gotta say that's the first topic that I would love to get into because I am personally interested in what the heck you were going for or talking about in that particular part. I think that could be so you're catching me blind, totally blind, and I think that could be fun.
I think it will be. You have to have been. Like I said, I was going to school in the late '60s, early '70s, along with a few of the listeners and watchers here. The one that I sat through an English class, and this English class made us use synonyms and stuff like that for different words. And what it was, in your terms, what had happened was,
in my terms,
we sat through. There was a class that we had to come up with really long terms and synonyms for different words and use them in a poem. Well, my friend Randy, who I know listens to these shows every once in a while. Hi, Randy. He came up. I think it was a girlfriend of his. It wasn't his girlfriend, but she came up with. No, I take that back. He came up with the term acidulous guano. Acidulous is acidy. It's kind of acidulous is like if something tastes acidulous, it tastes acidy or sour. Guano, do you know what guano is?
No, I've been waiting for you to enlighten us.
Guano is pigeon crap. So put the two put the two terms together. Sour bird shit.
Okay.
It's sour bird shit. It's acidulous guano. I threw that in there just because I knew you were going to look at those things as I put them in.
Well, of course.
You gotta love it.
Oh, and it said and more, but
it's acidulous. We're gonna talk about sour bird shit and more.
Sour bird shit. All right, so that's what we're about to get down and talk about some sour bird shit.
Yep, that's right.
And that's pretty much what we talk about every couple weeks is sour bird shit. So I have to,
Yeah, I agree.
That's off. I'll agree with you on that one.
So what are we going to talk about tonight? Want to talk about my one subject first? That I can actually
go right ahead. That I can actually
prove
for the duration.
This is just one of the videos that I found on this that pretty much says where the terms came from and what the and that.
Before you play your video, what is the topic that we're discussing?
We're going to discuss the fact that Donald Trump sent COVID tests to the
Russia.
To Russia.
Okay.
To the Soviets, when American people were sitting here suffering.
Okay, go ahead.
So and I'm going to prove the point here. There's some other off to the side points, but this video, I don't know if I want to cover the other stuff in it or not, but this video actually says what actually happened, and it's got a
what actually happened? What
supposedly actually happened?
Oh, thank you.
What allegedly happened?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, this is about a 4-minute clip, so hang in there.
All right, go for it.
You're watching The Art of Argument on Crooked River. We'll be right back.
Early in the pandemic, as people isolated and ICUs filled with patients, from Washington to Moscow, a connection that even today is making news. Then President Donald Trump agreed to send Russian President Vladimir Putin COVID test machines, the Kremlin told NBC News and other news organizations this week. Its spokesman saying in part, in the beginning, all the countries tried to swap some aid. We sent artificial lung ventilators to the States. The Americans sent us several samples of those testing systems. At the time, there were very few of them. Many countries did this. The story was first reported in War, a new book by the veteran Washington reporter Bob Woodward, and immediately became part of the election.
In the height of the pandemic,
Vice President Kamala Harris discussing it during an interview with radio host Howard Stern.
Everybody was scrambling to get these kits, the tests, the COVID test kits.
Couldn't get them.
Right. Couldn't get them anywhere.
Right.
And this guy who is president of the United States is sending them to Russia, to a murderous dictator for his personal use?
The Kremlin denying unconfirmed reports from Woodward's book that former President Trump stayed in contact with Putin after he left office, saying, as for any calls which allegedly took place after Trump ceased to be the president, this is not true. This did not happen. Trump and his campaign have denied the reporting in Woodward's book as well. In recent weeks, Trump has taken meetings with a number of world leaders, including the president of the UAE, the British Prime Minister, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, using that opportunity to tout his ties to Putin.
So we have a very good relationship. And I also have a very good relationship, as you know, with President Putin. It's an honor to be with you.
The relationship between Trump and Putin has become the focus of global fascination. Summits between the two men, while Trump was president, and the long press conferences together left many world leaders stunned. Then, as COVID struck, Russia's efforts to protect President Putin led to photo ops like this one, the leader sitting at the end of a long table, a form of social distancing from French President Emmanuel Macron. At times, Putin fully isolating and delivering solo video conferences. His distance from his own advisors left him dependent on a smaller group, creating the conditions for his decision to fully invade Ukraine, Western intelligence officials say. When NBC News interviewed Putin before the invasion, after President Joe Biden was in office, the Russian leader compared Trump and Biden.
I believe that former U.S. President Mr. Trump is an extraordinary individual, talented individual. Otherwise, he would not have become a U.S. president. President Biden, of course, is radically different from Trump because President Biden is a career man. He has spent virtually his entire adulthood in politics.
In July, a U.S. intelligence official indicated that Russia prefers Trump to win the presidential election. Now, the Trump administration's decision to send COVID tests is under the microscope. Was it understandable diplomacy or pandering to an autocrat?
And Keir Simmons joins us now. Keir, we saw a clip from your interview with Putin back during the pandemic in your piece. So talk to us about the protocols they had in place at that time and the concerns he had surrounding COVID.
Well, listen, there's no question that the Kremlin was deeply concerned about COVID and President Putin. I know that myself because before that interview, I had to quarantine for 2 weeks, locked on my own in a hotel room, handed food by FSB officers, that's the former KGB, in white overalls. And then when we went to the Kremlin for that interview, we had to go through a disinfectant system in order to simply sit down and speak to the Russian president. We all saw the pictures, but it's easy to forget just how worried Russian officials were that President Putin might catch COVID. That, of course, is because he is so important to Russia. He is an autocrat. Without him, many of those officials would be lost, frankly.
And Keir, it's not unusual for leaders to remain in contact after their terms have passed, but in this case, the United States and Russia, they really have not been allies for quite some time, even if they say, the pair say they haven't spoken recently. Is there a level of concern when you speak to sources about the relationship between Trump and Putin today?
Well, look, there will be concerns, won't there? And it is something to do with who President Putin is for many people. Relationships between leaders after they've left office are famous. There was Thatcher and Reagan, Blair and Clinton, Blair and Bush. But that feels different, doesn't it, to someone like President Putin? I think one of the issues here is that we simply don't know what was said in some of the meetings between President Trump when he was president and President Putin in Helsinki in 2017 and Osaka in 2019 when President Trump famously told reporters, it's none of your business. So for there to be conversations, if there were, and we have to just say again that both President Trump and the Kremlin say that there have not been. But if there were, then there are going to be people who are going to say, well, what we're worried about here isn't necessarily the contact. Maybe that happens all the time with all kinds of leaders. The question is what was said.
Keir Simmons, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the...
All right, you there?
Oh, I'm here.
All right. What bothers me about this is not the fact that, well, I guess there is two things that bother me. The fact that he had the American people going out and injecting themselves with flippin' Clorox.
Oh, come on.
And doing that to himself and then sending the COVID test.
He injected himself with fucking Clorox?
Oh,
really?
He was having himself done.
Come on. Come on, continue.
And then on top of it, you know, sending them the damn COVID testing, which, you know, while you got the American people aren't getting hardly any of it. And for what? If he wants to be friends with Putin, that's not really my concern, unless there's politics and bullshit between the two countries involved in this. You can't have two leaders trying to intermingle in each other's business. And I always felt that he's got such a like for Putin that I think it was bothering him. I think it was bothering the whole scenario.
Well, I would say if you watched more than that video or read more than one article, you would probably realize that, okay, we're going all the way back to the beginning of the pandemic when nobody knew what the hell was going on. Now, we had some COVID tests.
Just hold on.
Listen to me. We had COVID tests that still weren't approved yet. Okay. They weren't even proven as good COVID tests. And if you remember, at the same time, with all the people that were coming down with COVID before we started getting people to manufacture more of the the ventilation systems. He sent them basically some bogus tests to get more ventilation.
Oh, so they were bogus. So they were bogus now, huh?
No, well, I'm saying they weren't approved yet. They were still in testing. So he sent them some horse shit to get more ventilators sent over to the United States to help protect the U.S. people. And of course, after that, later on we had better tests, and
they probably got them before us too.
The quote unquote the shots came out that are so wonderful, but I don't know. I had a couple of them, and I still got fucking COVID. So I don't know. I mean,
well,
I'm just saying, don't look into it too far. I think he was trying to help the American people. We needed ventilators, and he got ventilators, whether they were great ventilators or not so great ventilators. He threw out some tests to get us ventilators, and they didn't go directly to President Putin for his own use.
Never know.
They went to the country, and it's okay. A little bit later, we did better at stuff. Okay, and of course, it never happened again. So this is another liberal talking point.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my God, the president. In the process,
I knew you were going to do this.
We had no ventilators. There were nobody in the United States that was building the ventilators. So he got us some by giving up a few tests.
Now, pardon me.
We got to the point where we could build our own, but we weren't doing that. We're talking early in the COVID crisis. I mean,
why weren't we ready?
Come on. We're not talking about 2023.
Why weren't we ready to build those things? Did you ever think of that? America's always been the one to lead the world in technology.
And you know what?
We can't flip and build ventilators.
And you know what? We did, but we weren't building them at the time. We didn't need 900 million fucking ventilators. So that wasn't happening. You gotta kind of look at the give and take here. It's, I don't know. Go ahead and just bash Trump. Do what you're gonna do. I'm gonna give you your fucking soapbox today.
And I'm not ready for it.
Exactly.
And I told you that.
Exactly. And I'm giving you your soapbox, and you can't fucking take it because you can't.
I don't know why people can't understand my. I don't understand. I don't know why people can't understand my points. I'm not exactly 100% against Trump. I don't like what he did. I don't like what he's been accused of. I don't like what he's been convicted of. But I'll give it the first couple of years that he was in office was decent. Wasn't terrific. He brought one factory back, and that's one more than we had when he, in some of these other regimes that are in this country. But for me, I'm not one to say he was terrible, but I'm not on the Trump bandwagon by any means.
We're well aware of that.
And it's the same side as far as with the Democrats. I think some of the shit that they've pulled in the last 4 years is terrible. But
okay, so
Then again, it's that thing I've said before, Dale. It's that lesser of two evils. And now, in my book, the lesser of two evils is the Democrats.
So answer me, riddle me this, Batman. Okay, riddle me this. Okay, you're telling me that the way things are going right now are wrong.
I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying they're right.
Okay, all right. So I'll take a step off that. But you have at least a minimum, according to the polls. I think it's more than 50%, but basically it's a 50-50 shot right now for the presidential election. So 50% of the people think that this woman, well, they already thought. Listen, let me finish. That Joe Biden was full of shit. They already think 50% of the people think that Kamala Harris is full of shit. And now, what is the one main thing that you Democrats say?
Not to mention
he's got 39 felonies against him. So answer me this. If your people, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, are so great, why in the hell is half of the country willing to vote for a convicted fucking felon?
You got me.
Exactly.
I have said,
I knew I would.
Ever since Mike Trevisano was
you guys
alive.
want to preach that he's a convicted felon. Why does everybody want to vote for him?
I am living in a world that I do not understand. I'm living in a world I don't understand. I've said that before, and I'll say it again and again.
But when it gets to a point that you would much rather vote for a convicted felon, which is some stupid bullshit, and we both know that.
Overthrowing the flipping Constitution's bullshit? Give me a break.
That's not his. That's not his felon.
That's not him. He's not. Okay. He's not convicted.
That's not his felon.
He's not convicted of that.
And he didn't
never
overthrow the Constitution. He didn't do anything.
He couldn't.
You're
because Al Gore did Al Gore.
Once again,
Mike Pence did the right thing. In a situation that was coming down to that in the near future.
Maybe he did, but Donald Trump felt that things weren't done properly, and I don't blame him.
Is it going to be any different this time? Do you think it's going to be any different this time?
No, because
if you do, what rock are you? What rock?
They might find
it could go either way. It could.
Kamala.
It could go either way.
The key is here.
They could find 25 or 30,000 votes for Trump that aren't counting, like the ones in Michigan, like the ones in California.
Like that.
Oh yeah, right. Like the Democrats would do that too, and try to get away.
They already did it.
Oh bullshit. You got no proof.
Bullshit me.
Bullshit you. I want to bullshit you, boy.
Too big to lose. I mean, come on. Be realistic here.
I'm being realistic.
You know there was some fucking shit that wasn't going on.
Do you think for 1 minute it's not going to turn out any different this time? You're going to be waiting until flipping February for the election results once they do get taken.
Of course, because your candidate is probably going to fight it after she said, "Oh, you should never fight the election results because they're so good." She'll fight the election results just like Hillary Clinton did. And just,
and Donald Trump
what he did, they tell him
he's still fighting them
for doing what he did when they did the same fucking thing.
It ain't going to be a damn bit of difference.
I mean, like Hillary still says to this day that she was robbed of that election. She still says it today.
Join the party, get in line. So does Trump.
I mean, so Donald Trump ain't allowed to his opinion. And this bullshit, he told them to go down there and attack. I mean, come on. No, he didn't. Y'all heard the speech.
He would have already.
Now, did he want some people to go down there and get their voices heard?
If the Secret Service was,
but did he want that to go on?
If the Secret Service would have allowed him, he would have been down there fighting with them. And don't you think that ain't the truth?
Yeah, peacefully protesting.
Yeah, bro, whatever. Peacefully.
Well, what was he gonna do? Shoot somebody?
Probably. He was down there with the.
It's just I keep hearing about all these people that died. There's only one person that died during that riot.
There was two.
And that was a rioter
that was
shot by security.
There was two.
From the Capitol.
And there was a cop that died because of it too.
They shot the woman trying to come through. A woman.
There was two.
They shot the woman trying to come through a fucking window.
There was two. I did the research on that. I forgot to dig that up. I'll have that for the next show.
So, I mean, let's not, I keep hearing, there was like 7 people killed. There were all these Capitol security that were killed and whatnot. No, they weren't. The only person got killed was a fucking civilian that popped their head through a window.
There was 2 cops that died because of it.
And a trigger-happy motherfucker shot her in the fucking head.
There was 2 cops that
died.
died.
Come on. Let's be realistic. Yeah. That's all I'm asking
I'll prove you wrong next week. Or in 2 weeks.
All I'm asking for is let's be realistic. Let's not.
I didn't never like
right side, left side. Let's be realistic.
I can't be realistic. I never liked Radio Shack.
Oh, but I bet you shopped there many times, didn't you?
Yeah, but I never liked them.
Okay, well, So then you just debutted your own bullshit.
Realist junk.
I don't like Radio Shack, but I went there 375 times to buy some shit.
I'd rather go to Olson's.
But I don't like them.
I'd rather go to Olson's.
Okay, well, I digress.
Olson's was the store, man.
But you went to Radio Shack.
When you couldn't find it at Olson's, which was...
And you shopped at Radio Shack.
That was rarely.
The person you're saying is the most horrible person in the world. You went to Radio Shack.
I never said that. I just said I didn't really care for them that much.
Okay, that store sucks, but you went there and you shopped.
Here and there when I couldn't find what I wanted anywhere else.
Okay, well, so... Well, but what do you say?
Just like you.
What are you saying?
Just like you, they had the redeeming cross.
So when it works for me,
just like
how I feel, it's okay.
Just like you, it had its redeeming qualities.
Oh, no, I'm not sure that I have redeeming qualities. I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I got to warn you, Dale. I'm on my game tonight. I've been on a roll in butter all day long.
In butter.
I've been on a roll with butter, buddy.
Butter in your biscuits?
I had to here and there.
Buttering the biscuits. Listen, folks, he's buttering the biscuits.
And eating the cats and dogs.
Well, lay off the cats and dogs.
Why?
You Haitian motherfucker. I'm just saying.
Oh, God.
But eating the cats.
You're
the one that said you was eating cats and dogs, not me. Hey. And, of course, he's a liberal. Talking about eating cats and dogs. So, I mean, I digress again. But, I mean, come on.
I lead you down that path. I'm sorry.
Man's eating dogs and cats.
I've led you down that path. I'm sorry.
Okay, he's not eating dogs and cats. I'm being funny. For any of you out there that may not be smart enough to figure that out.
They think the Haitians are eating dogs and cats.
Well, I had to throw that disclaimer out there just in case there happened to be a crazy that listens to the show that thinks you actually eat dogs and cats. But I can pick on you, but I got you back.
I
gets it back
I
to the
have a
point.
major announcement. The management and ownership of this station will never eat a dog or a cat. What are we going to talk about next? I can hardly flip and wait. Want to go back to the show notes?
Hardly flip and wait.
Let's see what we were going to talk about. The tester.
Let me look at your list.
America.
And I got my list going.
All right.
We went over the COVID test.
And with the COVID tests we're done with, America.
All right, I got one I'd like to go over.
Guano and more.
And then we can get into what you told me you wanted to get into.
What was that?
Now, as far as I can see, I had told you we're talking about TSA agents being told to allow illegals to fly in America using arrest warrants or deportation warrants as an ID for permission to get on a flight. Now you have to go through all your screening and all that bullshit in order to get on an airplane.
Bullshit
This
alert.
motherfucker's
Bullshit
handing you
alert.
an arrest warrant, and well, isn't it your job to detain that individual?
Bullshit alert.
Because that's a warrant, but
Bullshit
no,
alert.
I can use that as a piece of paper to get on a fucking airplane.
Do you think for one
Shit,
minute?
at least the 9/11 people were smarter than fucking that.
Do you think for 1 minute? I mean, seriously, Dale, do you think for that thing? I saw the commercials you were talking about with this.
I'm not talking about a commercial. I haven't seen the commercial.
There was commercials that were aimed at Wanda Sykes that were talking about this.
Oh, well.
And the way they portrayed it was that she was giving them housing and everything. Like, you could pick up a key at the... Do you think for 1 minute that they would allow something like that? Let alone the people that they were aiming that at. The people that they were aiming that crap at. Do you think they had any control over the TSA to actually make them be able to do that, or allow
That's a
them
federal
to do it?
agency.
But there's no interaction with it. There is no interaction with that in politics, at least that I'm aware of.
That's the federal government, which is the current echelon.
I call bullshit on that one.
Is in
They
government
don't want
at this
anybody
time.
more any more people dying than anybody else, and they're not going.
Well, you know what? The
something like that.
TSA agent, the TSA agent, absolutely, he does not want, or she does not want anybody dying, does not want anything bad to happen. But when you're told these are the new rules, these are the rules as an employee that you have to, just like the union man you are, this is the rules. This is the rules you have to follow.
I just think it's
They don't
bullshit.
have to agree with them.
I think it's
They got to
bullshit.
do them. So that kind of rolls back into the current echelon in power. When I got, the Texas Deputy of Public Safety, watching them.
What's his last name?
Olivares.
Is he an immigrant? Is he maybe an illegal immigrant that's got a position
Well,
like
if he's
that?
working,
Let's talk about this
if
for a
he's
minute.
working for the Texas Department of Public Safety,
And
I'm
you
pretty
think
sure he's not.
he
He may be an immigrant, but he's probably a U.S. citizen.
and you think that all immigrants are bad?
No,
Well,
no, I
they're
did
they're
not.
gonna
No,
are they
no,
gonna
no.
when Trump deports his
No.
4 or 5 million people, that's gonna wreck this place? because it's
Well, what I'm
as
hearing
far
is
as all the low
now,
paying jobs.
We have 500,000 reported getaways, and we're on track 700,000 getaways, and this was in 2022. We're not even talking about now. This was in 2022.
I don't believe it.
And the former active border control agent, Mark Morgan, says the number of illegals is understated. Okay, that they're not even telling you how many illegals are getting into the country.
So Trump's going to deport half the country.
And then if you look at the recent the sham of an interview that Kamala did with Fox News, of course, when she actually got asked questions that
at least she was answering questions instead of standing there dancing to flipping YMCA.
When she was asked about immigration, and they were bringing up immigration and saying, no, in the beginning of the administration, this was happening and that was happening. She's like, well, nine months ago, we tried to pass a bill.
Yeah, they did.
It was full of pork. It's like 9 months. Well, where's the other? She would not speak on the other 3 years.
Donald Trump.
Okay.
Donald Trump kiboshed that bill. There ain't no two ways about that. He wanted to fucking campaign on that thing and make all kinds of noise so everybody listened to him. Don't give me this crap about that she ain't been able to do anything. She ain't been able to do anything because Congress hasn't been able to do anything because the Republicans won't let them.
I'm not saying that. So 9 months ago, after 3.5 years, almost 4, in office, you're going to try to do something? What happened to all the other years?
She's one person.
That you
what about
ignored?
the rest of Congress who could have done something with that? What about the Republicans in Congress? What about the Republicans in Congress that could have gotten something like that approved? They were going to bipartisan that thing 8 months ago when all of a sudden it got kiboshed by Trump. Don't give me that crap. That border issue, those border issues could have been solved years ago.
Exactly.
And it's not just the Democrats' fault either.
You just said it.
It's not the Democrats' fault.
Years ago.
It's not.
So why?
Years ago when you're flipping your candidate was in office. It could have been solved then.
My candidate was building a fucking wall.
He built a 54-mile wall out of 1,500 miles.
Because he couldn't get the Democratic Congress to give him the fucking money.
Oh yeah, well, and he had a Republican Congress.
Bullshit.
Go look it up.
I mean, come on. Let's just, really. But she's asked about her last 3.5, almost 4 years, and all she can bring up is 9 months ago. Well, what the fuck were you doing for the other 3
candidate?
years?
What the hell's he been doing for 4 years besides trying to fuck the country over?
People were flooding through the country. People were dying. And you know what? She was asked.
And she stands there
to apologize to those families. Well,
all he does at his rallies is stand there watching people faint.
Couldn't answer the fucking question.
And your candidate is in the same boat most of the time. Case in point, when they asked him what he would.
You have no candidate.
You don't either. You've got one. But when he's asked something, case in point about that about what he was going to do about Obamacare. Well, I got a lot of I haven't really given it much thought. I got a couple of concepts in mind. If you're going to become the president of the United States again, you haven't got a concept. You haven't got something in your head that's I'm going to do this when I get in office.
Have you listened to your candidate?
Have you listened to yours? Evidently
you listened
not.
to your candidate?
We're not talking
Your
about
candidate
me.
says, "Oh, I'm going to give you money. I'm going to give you money. I'm going to give you money."
Well, at least she's making promises.
And I'm going to
Yours
give you
isn't
money.
even doing that.
But nobody ever says where that money is going to come from. Well, guess what? That's from your pocket. That's from my pocket. That's from the guy next door's pocket.
There's so
the
much
guy
money
down the
floating
street's
around
pocket,
in this government,
and the
it's
guy
pathetic.
around the block's pocket.
There's so much money floating around in this.
We're paying for it.
There's so much money floating around in this country. It's pathetic.
Huh?
There's so much money floating around in this country. It's pathetic.
Oh, there's so much money floating around. That's why we're in a deficit.
I'll believe that too.
That's why we owe a bunch of countries money. And I guess we could just print off a bunch of money and pay off the debt. And then what would that do?
What's that old saying?
I mean, we're not going to talk about the damn near depression that we're fucking in.
That was actually started from, from a Republican.
Huh?
That was actually almost started from a Republican, except it wasn't your candidate. It was the one before him.
Oh, almost started.
Well,
started
it was headed there. It was the worst recession we've had in 50-some years or more.
Well, what do you think the fuck we're in right now? I don't give a shit if it's Republican, Democrat, or somebody in the middle. We're having problems. And I saw.
So where does it end? What do we do to make it?
I saw your comment on another gentleman's post.
Oh, here we go.
About how everything was great.
I never said it was great.
Where the fuck are you living?
Well, I never said it was great. I said it was better than it was. That the recession is heading down. That the economy is heading up.
Everything's just fucking peachy keen. That's what you were saying in that post. And
you
guess what?
You misinterpreted me.
Get out the house and start looking around. When's the last time? I know.
You misinterpreted.
When's the last time you've been grocery shopping? Probably not in a half a minute. You will find that everything is up like 30, 40, 50%. The price of gasoline is way up. Now, mind you, it's lowering because every president tries to lower gasoline prices because they think that's going to, do something. And I don't even know why Biden lowered the gas prices because he shouldn't even give a fuck because he just got kicked out of his own fucking party for being old. And I'm not going to say.
I still think that there's going to be two things that's going to
somebody else, and they did. But who in the hell did they pick? His fucking sidekick. I mean, his fucking sidekick, Kamala.
Well, who did yours pick? I thought senator that's the only time he's been in politics was for 3 years and didn't do shit for Ohio when he was here. He was more concerned about getting himself elected and whatever, and having his hands and flipping investing or whatever the flip he does, and he ain't done shit for Ohio, including the fact that he could have done something about the supposed. He heard about it. The supposed eating of cats and dogs and the immigrants in Ohio. He could have done something about that. Don't you think he couldn't have? Was between him and Sherrod Brown. And Sherrod Brown, I hate to say this, I've never liked that guy, but he's better than what's running now.
Really?
This is enough. You're going to sit there and tell me you like Bernie Moreno?
Oh, much better than Sherrod Brown.
Give me a break.
You've had Sherrod Brown in office.
Give me a break.
875 years, and he ain't done dick. All right? The man ain't done shit other than make the fucking state look stupid.
Well,
it's time for a new echelon.
You've got several
and
people
of
here
course,
who have done that, including your
wish
vice presidential
if there had
candidate.
been another Democrat run against him, I would have voted for that Democrat. But I would not have voted for Sherrod fucking Brown. No. I've been complaining about this guy for fucking years.
I've been that way with the governor.
I mean,
a governor's a worthless turd.
It's just I've never liked the guy, and I don't like what I just everything I see just gives a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm like, so I'll tell you what, I reached a point that I'm like anybody but Sherrod Brown, and I'm thinking I actually voted for him once or twice, but I will tell you, with the condition of the country right now, I did an absentee ballot, okay? And for the very first time in my life,
you voted Democrat?
I voted a partisan ticket. I went straight, and it's funny because judges and stuff like that, they don't give you their partisan views. But see, I got thank God, apparently, they decided they thought they were going to convert me. The Democratic Party sent me this little, I think I have it, I don't know. I have it sitting over here somewhere. I kept it for Justine, unless in case you wanted to look at it. But it was right across the top. Tim Walz, Kamala Harris, Sherrod Brown, and somebody else. And then it went down through all the other Democrats that they wanted you to vote for. So me, that's why I did my absentee. I can sit back and look, and I'll be like, well, this person's on that list. So, yeah, I'm not voting for them. And honest to God, I may have voted for another Democrat and not known it. But if they were on that list of the people that the Democratic Party was pushing, I did not vote for them. And that's the first time I have been totally partisan in my whole entire life. And I don't, necessarily feel right about it, but I feel, well, let me change that. I don't feel proud of it, but I feel that it was the right thing to do at the time because of, due to the state of politics and the way things are occurring in the country, the state. On a local level, it could be a little bit different, but at least your state and federal, it's.
Well,
to me, I had no choice. So, my vote's already in. I'm done.
I've had.
They count it. So hopefully, I'm in that bag of votes that you're talking about.
I've had. Well, let's talk about that a minute. What are we going to do? This is something that is not really a political, political one side Democrat, Republican, or whatever issue. What can we do, or what as America can we do, as far as straightening out this voting situation to where you're not getting 500,000 people from Michigan that aren't there. That you're not getting 500,000 people from California that aren't there. That allegedly could be.
That's been going on for years.
What can you do to stop it? You're not going to get a fair election. Now let me finish my thought. Let me finish my thought.
Go ahead.
First.
I'm sorry.
You cannot get a fair election. It's like what happened to me back in a couple of years ago. When you don't know what's on your roster, when you don't know that those people exist, how in the flippin' hell are you going to get a fair election? I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Kamala. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care. You're not going to have an election that's fair unless you put put safeguards in there to make sure that's not happening. Where are these protections, Dale?
Oh shit.
Where are these
Oh,
protections?
Shit. Oh shit. Oh shit.
You've got California that doesn't require any valid ID to vote. You've got, from what I heard over on the news a couple of days ago, you've got 500,000 people in Michigan that don't exist. And when the guy that is the president of or the head of the voting up there was approached, he said, "We know they exist. What are you going to do about it?" Oh. Now, how are you going to have a fair election that way? When you don't even know. You always have to know who's on your damn roster. If you don't know who's on there, you're not going to have a fair one. Fight me on that, boy.
Oh, I'm going to fight you all day long. So, it was brilliant to hear you say those things. Now, as far as the 500,000 people in Michigan already that have voted, and there's less people, but I got to believe there's more than 500,000 people in Michigan. But anyway,
they said that they counted.
I digress. But you say, okay, there's less people that should have voted, and more people have already voted, blah, 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 blah. And then you just gave your spiel about how is an election going to be fair and how is an election going to be right, blah, 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 blah. Am I following you correctly?
So far, so good. I'm not going to say I'm going to stay
on
that track.
What in the hell, if this is still going on right now, makes you think that the 2020 election was fair?
We're not talking about the 2020 election here.
Oh, come on, Kamala. Come on, Kamala. Kamala. Come on. We're not talking about, so it didn't happen that time, but it's happened this time because you think
I didn't
might lose.
No, you misunderstood.
You said that this has been going on.
You misinterpreted me.
How in the hell did I misinterpret?
I said that from what I heard,
people have been cheating.
From what I heard, that I didn't say those ballots got put in or anything like that, but there are supposed to be 500,000 registered voters that don't exist in Michigan. That's what I said. Yeah, I didn't say they voted. I didn't say they didn't vote.
Do you know that happened in several states in 2020? That they had more people voting than registered voters?
How do you put a stop to that?
Did you not hear that?
How do you put a stop to it?
That's not my point.
That's my point.
Before I discuss
We're talking about me here.
Before I discuss this with you, I want you to say, so how can you tell me that the 2020 election was fair? That there was nothing nefarious going on?
Because the people that were in the control of that election, I'm not talking about the federal people, whatever. The people in this at the state levels didn't find any corruption, and then it would have been reported. You would have heard about it.
Really? After what you just told me?
I didn't say that they put the votes, or
After what you just told me,
I didn't say that they voted.
You said it's been going on for years.
It's been going on for years. That's true.
Therefore, Therefore,
but
you
I'm
telling
not.
me
What you're not understanding from me is I said that in the case of Michigan, they knew they existed and then said that they wouldn't be counted.
So it's smarter this time.
I don't know if it's smarter. That's not up to me to know that.
Are you following me? Are you following me? So you go with this, and then you go into your January 6th banner.
Oh,
but you're like, the January 6th thing occurred because he was trying to say that the election wasn't fair when you are sitting here in front of me saying that the elections have not been fair for God knows how long. You know, you're telling me that the election isn't fair already before the election even occurred, but yet saying that all these questions and things that were asked about these individual states, they're false when you're admitting that these nefarious acts go on.
Show me the proof. Show me the actual ballot.
Show me the proof on what the fuck you're talking about.
I can show you a video on it because that's where I saw it.
Well, I want to watch a YouTube video on why you think that all of a sudden 500 million people have voted.
Like
Michigan.
I said, that's just what I heard.
But that's,
I'm not here to.
That's okay.
I'm not here to make sure it makes. I'm not here to make laws or anything else.
That's okay to assume that is correct, but not assume after you got done saying that these nefarious acts have been going on for years. It's not safe to assume that those nefarious acts went on during the Trump-Biden election.
Let's take this from another angle. Even
you can take it from 25 different fucking angles.
Allegedly, if it did happen, what are you going to do about it now? The election's over with.
No, you can't do nothing.
We're 4 years down
All
the road.
you can do is try to correct
That's
it.
like people going back and bitching about Obama. It's like people going back and bitching about Clinton.
I'll tell you, Obama won. Obama flat out fucking won. Okay, because he
might as well just
that Obama was a speaker, and he was a very good speaker.
And is a very brilliant speaker. I've never seen anybody talk like him.
Absolutely.
And that's why I voted for him.
And that's why he ended up as president. Now, I may not agree with all of his views or whatever.
His wife is
but
as smart
I
as
understand
he is.
and respect why he got elected.
His wife is as smart as he is.
Well, I don't know if I'd take it that far. Anyways.
What's her name?
What's her name? It's a very important woman.
Poof.
What's her name?
Poof.
Poof. What, Kamala Harris?
Poof.
There's another joke.
Anyway, I can't. Hey, Flora. Flora. What's Barack Obama's wife?
What's that bitch's name?
What's Barack Obama's wife's name?
Michelle.
Michelle, that's it. Damn. Poof.
I could have fucking told you that.
I hate when I have brain farts.
Everybody thought she was going to end up running this year.
That was a big
Everybody thought it was going to be her. But she said, no, I'm not doing it.
I would have voted for her.
Everybody thought, a lot of people.
I would have voted for her.
Especially on the Republican side, thought that they were going to run Michelle Obama. I mean, many people did. But they decided, no, we got the guy that don't know what the hell he's doing. So we're going to throw in the woman that don't know what she's doing with him and make her the new running person. And
I think if they're
come on,
somewhere down the road, if there
they had a better chance with Michelle. I won't give you that.
If there would have been somewhere down the road an election where a woman won, I could see a two-party or a president and vice president woman running in both positions, and they'd probably win, provided they were along the lines of Michelle Obama. I could see that in this country. Some of the countries like the Philippines have had women presidents for years. You go clear back to that Amanda Marcos and that. She was a brilliant, brilliant woman. Had 1,600 pairs of shoes, and she was.
She was just like the normal people.
She was a negotiator. And that's what made her famous. You know, people like that. You know, there's been other ones I can't. There was a couple other ones that I can't think of.
I'm not saying.
I don't see why. I'm
not saying a woman cannot run the office of the president. You would never hear that out of my mouth. If the right woman came across, and unfortunately, due to the way society is, it would have to be at the right time. I have no problem voting for a woman. I mean, no problem with that whatsoever. And I know a lot of people go crazy old school. It's not a matter of, that. It's a matter of, your mind frame and what you're going to do and how you plan to accomplish it. Like my example, you take Kamala. She'll tell you, I'm going to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And most of the stuff she says, has to be passed through Congress. Okay. So even though she's telling everybody, I'm going to give you $25,000, I'm going to give you $50,000, I'm going to give you all this money. Well, she can't do that. It's a matter of how that individual would work with the Congress and get something done. I mean, I think Donald Trump has proven that.
Bullshit.
He came through on almost every campaign promise.
Have you heard one idea?
The only one they ever fuck with him about is the wall. And that's because the Democratic
Have you heard one idea that he's had? I've watched some of his press conferences, clips from rallies. He never says anything. He stands there dancing to the flipping YMCA.
Oh, come on. You watched that clip?
And
really? And then that's what you're basing your opinion on? You haven't watched any of the other shit?
I've never seen anything. I've watched some clips of his, and I've never seen him say anything.
You ever watched an actual speech?
No.
See, that's the thing.
I can't stand him.
The Democratic or the debate, I watched in full. Kamala Harris with Fox News.
Oh, I watched the debate. I watched the no.
All the different things. I watched them.
I watched that debate all the way through.
Not just fucking clips.
I watched the debate all the way through. He never said anything. And when they did ask him a question, he didn't have an answer for it.
Did you watch her debate with Fox?
No. I haven't yet. No.
You get her finally getting somebody. Listen, you're on CBS. What are they doing? They're giving her soft questions. They're like diving at him and giving him like the hard fuck question, which is fine.
Oh, come on.
He was there to answer them, and he answered them. If you watch her interview
he answered them in
on
circles.
Fox News, by the end of it, they're already saying she had like 4 people in the back waving her off, going, "No, we need to end this interview." Oh, end the interview. Because dude was asking her the tough questions, and she wasn't handling her business.
I'm sorry.
It was. Let me explain to you how the Democratic Party and people like you, because you've done it to me 875 times. Okay. Every time we have this show,
I'm learning a lot about myself tonight.
Every time you do it to me at least once is, what do you think about the economy? What are you going to do to fix the economy?
And what are you going to do about it?
Orange man bad. Orange man bad.
What are you going to do?
We have a problem with this, or this. What are you going to do? Orange man bad. Orange man bad. And nobody ever gives an answer to the question that they're asked.
He doesn't either.
You don't think the American
either
aren't smart enough?
Go back and watch some of his rallies. He never says anything in them, except how.
Listen,
he called.
Once again, your candidate is so bad.
Yeah, so is yours.
50 to over 50% of the country, as polled, is willing to vote for a convicted fucking felon over your candidate.
It's a sad.
Does that not mean anything to you?
It's a sad state of affairs.
No, it's not a sad state of affairs.
Yes,
That's called, we can tell this woman's full of fucking shit.
It's a sad state
That's
of affairs.
what that is.
When you think that.
I mean, I don't think that. But hey, listen, everybody wants to bring up all the time, he's a convicted felon. He's a convicted felon. He's a convicted felon. Well, then,
I've only done it 17 times.
Why does over half the fucking country want to vote for it? Because your candidate is so fucking great? No, they're willing to vote for a convicted fucking felon before they would vote for your candidate. And come on, what more do you fucking need?
I'll vote for whoever I want to vote for.
Absolutely. I respect that. But, I mean, come on. Come on. We already know who you're going to vote for. I mean, you don't have to fucking,
of the things that
candy coat it. Just spit it out. You're a Kamala man.
One of the things that really get to me, y'all know I'm a ham radio operator, and there is a group of older Republicans on this frequency that I use all the time. I'm friends with most of them. And I was told the other day that we can't talk politics in front of Pat because he doesn't like what he's hearing. To me, that was kind of insulting. And
Depends on the individual.
I will listen to anybody. If I don't want to hear it, I got an off and on button. Or I can go do something else. I'll turn the volume down. I don't want them thinking that they're going to chase me off because, we're going to talk politics and Pat's not going to hang on here. And to be honest about it, amateur radio is not the place to talk politics anyway. It's formats like this.
Absolutely.
It's formats like this that are more apt to being heard and everything else.
But in defense of your other folks,
and they were there a long time. They were
doing that in a way to not offend you, because.
And it's like I told the one guy.
They don't realize you and I can do this. So they're thinking if they say certain things or whatever that you disagree with, all of a sudden you're going to get mad and never talk to them again. And so they're trying to protect, I guess, the friend circle, maybe.
Those guys have been there a long time before I came along, and they'll be here long after I'm gone. I realize that. That was their frequency on that before I came along. And I just try to fit in here and there when I can. But for I don't want anybody to misunderstand. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm middle of the road. You get anybody that knows me knows that. I may lean one way here and there, and that's fine.
Anybody that knows you,
that's my opinion.
anybody that knows you knows you're pretty much a Democrat.
No bullshit.
I mean, come
You
on.
don't know
When's
me
the
that
last
well,
time
then.
you voted for a frickin' Republican?
I'd have to think about that one.
I don't know, back when you were 18?
No.
Exactly. You can't even remember.
I have to.
You don't even remember. You are liberal leaning and very, Democratic, and nothing wrong with that. God bless you. Nothing wrong with that. That's your belief.
I try to stay middle
and whatever, but don't try to give this middle of the road horse shit. You've been a diehard Democrat, especially since you've been in the Union, where back in the day, and I've had Union people even tell me, where the Union would tell you who you needed to vote for and whatnot.
They still try to do that.
And I get that same thing from your daughter when we first got together, with you telling her who she needed to vote for. It wasn't until I said, honey, watch the debate, watch this, or watch that, or watch something else, and decide how you feel. And she became a Republican. I never, ever steered that young lady. I said, watch this. I had her watch the debate with me. We watched another debate together. We watched something else together and something else together. And she made her own decision to go down the road in which she goes down today. But she will tell you she was influenced by what she was told when she was younger. And that was what the Union did to you, and that's what you did to your family. I'm guessing.
No.
I'm not accusing.
I never told them who to vote for.
No, you didn't tell anybody who to vote for, but I can't say that you probably didn't.
I told.
Sure, you made
I've
some
told all
comments,
three of them to have an open mind about it.
Steer people in a certain direction.
I've told them to have an open mind.
Listen,
about it.
I've done it. I'm Mr. Republican. I've done it. Okay? I've done it. I know how to steer people. Okay? So this is not a bashing moment. It's not that at all. It's we're talking about life here. So, it is what it is. I mean, but you were influenced by the Union, and that's I'm guessing 9 chances out of 10 why you have the feelings you do today, because you're, old, new, in between. You're a Union man, and you're going to follow the Union because that's the people that put money in your pocket, Yep. And that's how you roll.
There ain't no two ways about that.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm
but
just
there again, if
pulling it out.
If the Union comes by and says, "Hey, you got to vote for so and so," I'll vote for who I flipping want to. You ain't gonna have no action on me.
Well, 9 chances out of 10, you did.
And
I'm going to take a wild guess. Just taking a wild guess. And
I can understand where they're coming from, but if I do the research and I don't like the candidate, I'll vote for who I want to vote for, and that's all there is to it.
Since you retired?
No, since before that. I've always been that way. I look at the candidates. I look at especially the local stuff. I followed some of the senators. I actually met Sherrod Brown once, and
sorry for you.
He was as full of. I once said he was so full of crap. His eyes were brown, and I still walked away. I walked away with a bad taste in my mouth just because of what he did. I won't go into it here, but it's.
But you were defending him a half hour ago.
But I think that he's better than that asshole that's running against him.
So he's a better guy now. I'm like, you were just defending him like, I don't want to say half hour. It's probably been like 20 minutes ago or whatever. But you were defending him in like 20 minutes ago. And now you're saying,
never really
I
defended
talked to him.
him.
I met him personally. And he put a bad taste in my mouth.
I told you that I met that. What the hell did I tell him? My mind just poofed. God,
you know what?
I'm tired.
Sometimes I can't remember. Fucking, yeah. Especially when I'm talking to you, I can't remember shit because, you know, I'm usually drinking. So I'll like get a thought in my head and I'll forget it like 5 minutes later.
Damn.
It's okay. It's okay. We've all been there.
As far as Brown goes,
all been there.
I met him. He didn't impress me. But as far as me defending him, I think he's better than Burino or whatever the hell his name is.
Moreno.
Yeah, he's a Moreno, all right. Morano.
Hey, I was like, anybody but check. That's you know, I voted like you and a lot of people do. Because you guys are like anybody but Trump. I was like, anybody but Sherrod Brown. So I voted for Moreno. I'm going to tell you that flat out. Open is in the public. I voted for fucking Bernie Moreno. They were talking some shit about him. Whatever. I also think he did some good things. Whatever. At this particular time, I don't remember what the fuck they were. But I know I was able to look at Sherrod Brown and Bernie Moreno, and I decided to vote for Bernie Moreno, and that's what I did. So
good luck with
I'm
that.
the bad boy on the list.
He'll be the next J.D. Vance.
The next J.D. Vance is going to be the vice president of the fucking United States.
And he won't do shit.
And if you don't...
And he won't do shit.
Just like Kamala didn't do shit. The borders are... Hello. Anyways.
Well,
I digress.
Your opinion, too.
It ain't an opinion.
We've been at this.
That's not an opinion.
We've been at this arguing for an hour and a half.
Open your fucking eyes.
Open yours, man.
Come on, Chief.
Come on. Open your eyes, Dale. See through those rose-colored glasses you got on.
These are clear, you see. Rose-colored glasses. I don't remember the rest of the song. But anyways.
You started singing that.
Come on.
I started singing the song Sad and She.
You're going to make me have to look up this damn song tonight so I can remember rose-colored glasses. Because I remember the tune, but I don't remember how it goes.
Satin pillows to cry on.
So you're going to make me have to look that shit up. Well, that's what you're going to need, a satin pillow to cry on come frickin' election day.
Yeah, I'm prepared for that if I have to. You ain't going to know till February.
But I will tell you this.
You're not going to know till February anyways. You know that.
I will tell you this. I think in all fairness to you and to me, okay, fairness to both of us, the show after the election, the immediate show after the election, we do not talk about the election because you're going to be fired up as hell. I'm going to be fired up as hell.
They're not going to know the results afterwards.
Whether it be positive or negative,
They're not going to know the results anyway.
I'm just thinking we probably don't want to put ourselves in that position. And after everything is settled in, and
I agree with that. Maybe
then we could probably,
February or March when it's all
talk
over.
about it, But I think, right after, say your candidate wins, you're just gonna want to just fucking dive at me with both barrels loaded, and it's not gonna work out well. And if I win, I'm probably gonna want to come at you with both barrels loaded, and it's just it's. It's got bad news written all over it.
I know what I know what I'll tell you.
Fuck off!
No, we can mention it and say, okay, this happened, blah, 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 and then move on with our conversation. But I don't think that right after is time to discuss it, because you're a heated individual. I can get a little heated myself.
Heated? Jeez, Dale.
You
have ruined my faith in humanity.
People watching the show, they may want to watch that fight. They may want, the fans, if we have any, they may want to watch that fight. But I just don't think that's a
I don't think it's a good
fight
idea.
to have. I just don't think it's proper.
It's going to have to be a cooling off period.
Absolutely, to where we can do what we're doing now and carry on a conversation. But right after the fact, it's just gonna.
Won't this 2 weeks from today or 2 weeks from tomorrow will be election day, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
so we got a show on election? No,
because the day before.
We meet on Monday. It'd be the day before election day, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Okay. So that would be good.
Boy, that's
we could have a talk before election day, and then maybe that would help. We'd have a 2-week cool off period, and then maybe be able to conversate somewhat like adults.
I think you're expecting way too much of us.
Well, hey, I'm reaching.
Yeah, we're both reaching on that one. All right, let's wrap this thing up. This has been a fun evening. We will see everybody in 2 weeks, day before the election, with bells on and all that.
Bells and whistles.
We will. Y'all have a good week. We coming up next, as far as the next thing in line for the radio station. You got 24/7 music from the 60s through today. Play a little bit of everything until Saturday morning at 11 a.m. We'll do the next edition of Four Guys on Sports, and we got a lot to talk about there. We're Cowboys, and me and the Browns are going to be crying in our beer.
Oh, you done already been doing that.
And
then you just lost your $257,000 million quarterback because the fucking punk ass got hurt again and didn't anybody touch him.
Now you want to talk about conspiracy theories? We're gonna come back for this for a minute. I've got a conspiracy theory for you.
Oh, okay, I'm listening.
All right, you got a backup quarterback and you've got a third stringer. You got on Friday the backup quarterback was Jameis Winston, and the backup or the second string or the third stringer was DTR Robinson. Okay. Sunday afternoon, it was announced. I don't remember. I think it come out about 11 o'clock. The DTR had been moved up to the second place, and Jameis Winston was put in third. Supposedly, because of some contract and some other BS that was going on, political BS that was going on a team. All right, now you start playing a game, you get through the third quarter, and all of a sudden Deshaun accidentally falls backwards and he blew out his ACL, which I'm not getting into the politics.
ACL, I heard it was an Achilles.
Yeah, the Achilles tendon, that's what an ACL is.
Okay. I wasn't sure the terminology.
No, he blew out his Achilles, I think, because the ACL is a cruciate ligament. But anyway, he hurts his leg, and all of a sudden we're out for the rest of the year. Now, the conspiracy theory in this old mind of mine says, you put DTR in his second string because supposedly he's better. What are you thinking? Are you having a premonition here that your billion-dollar quarterback is going to fall and break his leg? What a coincidence. Now, if you listen to some of the TV shows that I watch, NCIS being one of them, you'll learn Jethro Gibbs's rules, and it says there is no such thing as a coincidence. But yet,
I've heard that.
But yet you have two coincidences there. Rigged, maybe? Since the betting came on, could this be part of Vegas? There's a billion. There are at least 6 or 10 million things I could come up with this, and none of it would be any good. None of it could. If any of this would turn out to be true, that means you've got the sports books, and that are controlling the actual players, and they're controlling who's winning.
But my question is this:
who's winning and who's losing?
Okay, I feel where you're coming from, and I get it. But let's talk, Vegas and whatnot. Why is this quote unquote only happening to the Browns? Unless you can give me other supportive evidence that it's going on.
I bet I could find
other teams. But why would it only happen to the Browns? You got a guy like Deshaun Watson that's been a bitch since they fucking offered him 200 and God knows how many $1 million. He got hurt, bitch, and then he come back in to play again, bitch. And then I gotta tell you, I have to tell you, the lady at work that I talked to about, some stuff. She's the funny lady with the funny jokes, but she's very into sports. And then she showed me a video, which I later found, I don't know if it was YouTube or somewhere else, and watched. And the coach made a call, and he just went, you know what? Fuck you. And walked off the field, which is the most disrespectful thing you could ever see being done to a team.
I saw that.
I don't care who you are. That wasn't cool.
I saw that. And then you start to hear, well, there was 12 men on the field, and I wasn't going under center with their 12 men on there, so I just walked off.
That's some bullshit.
And they showed the video of it, showed there was.
But that's probably quite possible. But you just turn around and walk off the fucking field. I mean, come on now. I mean, that's like giving up on your team.
Well, you did.
Of course, this other situation happened where he hurt his ankle. Now, I heard even, all right, we're talking about, we're talking here, we're going to get Republican as Republican can be, okay? And we got Bob Golick, you know, former NFL player.
Played for the
you know,
Browns.
saying that, listen,
saved by the
if
bell.
you're on the football team,
Hi, Bob.
Your goal is you want to do the best you can do for your team. And you want to, you want to win. That just makes you look better. It makes you more money. It's just, you go all the way down to Pee Wee. You take a Pee Wee kid and you say he's not a starter, and you throw that Pee Wee kid on the field. What's he going to do? He's going to try his hardest to do the best that he can. So it's like, that moves up into the NFL. So it's like, well, wait a minute here. We have to believe that Deshaun Watson was trying to do the best he could for his team, but because of all the other things that have gone on, now that becomes a little bit suspect.
As well does the other things we've just talked about a couple minutes ago, with the supposed conspiracy of cheating and everything like that. Before the sports book stuff started, I don't know that there was a whole lot of cheating there. I think there was some.
Cleveland was already losing their ass before he went out of the game. But
on the other hand, how did you have powerhouses like New England, the Steelers, and those places? I'm just naming a couple here. You also had Green Bay, you had San Francisco, the powerhouses of the league. How were you keeping them strong for 7 or 8 years at a time? And on the other hand, how do you keep having Roger Goodell show up in the booth with the owner of the Patriots? Does this stink of a little bit of conspiracy? You bet your ass it does. Every time you see the flipping Patriots game, you see Goodell there somewhere, and he's usually in the booth with Kraft. I've seen it. I've watched the games that I've watched, and every once in a while I'll catch up on a New England game. Goodell's always there. Have you ever seen him in Cleveland? Here and there. You're going to see him now that we're building a $16 trillion stadium in Brook Park. What the fuck do they need a stadium in Brook Park for? They can't even win a fucking game.
That. Are they going to change the name to the Brook Park Brown?
Oh. Well, you've got several teams in the league that have kept their original names, like the Jets. The Jets don't play in New York.
Oh, okay.
As long as it's in the same area.
Enough to
as long as it's in the same area, it's not going to affect them, unless they want to change it. But even this last round of the playoffs last year, you had the Browns are going to go all the way. The Browns are going to, and so are the Texans, and so the Ravens are going to be the team to beat. And Detroit could be in the Super Bowl. And all of a sudden you get through round one and ain't a one of them damn teams was there. Well, you had Detroit there because they ended up going and getting, I think, didn't they beat the Ravens? But they didn't go much further than that because I think they got Kansas City next, and Kansas City ended up.
I'll watch it and I'm done with it.
But
I know the Yankees are in the World Series and the Indians just got punked. But other than that, I mean, you ask me next week, I couldn't tell you nothing.
You have to wonder, at least from my aspect and what I look at, you got to wonder if some of this stuff is affected by the off-track betting, or by the betting.
I mean, I get it. I mean, that's
DraftKings is knocking it down, buddy.
It's a question to ask. I mean, I totally get it. Because,
but like I said,
it's been going on.
You talk about conspiracy theories and stuff like that. There's a lot of it in the NFL. You know, just look at the last few years. You can come up with a bunch of stuff. Anyway,
yeah. You know, because it makes you wonder if a lot of times the referees are involved in this.
There you go.
You know, they're not getting paid the millions like the football players are. And then you see these off calls.
Who are the referees?
You can sit there on your television set and clearly see that something nefarious.
Who's funding these referees?
And I don't know.
The NFL.
So, you know, that as far as like the refereeing thing goes, if you want somebody that's trying to make more money, I'm going to guess, you know, if you compare the referee to the NFL player, obviously the referee is probably making a much less, so they have more to gain by helping things along.
If you
I say, you know,
hey, Mr. Ref, if you can make make a mistake on a call and cost Kansas City the game, you might find an extra couple of $1,000s in your pocket. Do you agree with that? Well, how about let's make it something simple. Let's make it $50,000. Like I said, there's an awful lot of conspiracy theories I could come up with.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm following you on that. I don't necessarily know that, because I've seen in the last few years, and I know, you know, you're talking about real time, and the referee can't always see everything, but I've seen more horrible calls by referees in the last, I'm going to say maybe we're pushing 5 years here, that it's just ridiculous. Now, the player that's already making millions, he just wants to win to give himself an opportunity to make more millions. So, you know, why would he accidentally not catch a ball or something like that? Because catching the ball only makes him look better, only makes his stats better. And most of these guys are, we're going to guarantee you this money, but if you do this, and this, we're going to give you even more money. It drives them to want to play. So I question the referees a lot more. I'm not saying a player isn't being nefarious, but I question the referees more than anything, because I have seen more fucking bad calls in the last few years than Carter got a little Liverpool.
I would agree with you, and I think it's more than just the referees or the players. I think it's the football industry wide. I really do. Ever since they allowed the betting, you could see the change in the games and the other thing that gets me is Goodell and his in his ultimate wisdom, keeps trying to change the game to make it so nobody will watch it. That bullshit with that 5 yards apart thing, that's a waste of time.
Oh, that old kickoff thing?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
That's a waste of time.
They can take that kickoff thing and shove it up their ass. Okay, because that's not a kickoff. That's a guy kicking a ball, and then you decide which. Here's the thing: they're saying they want to protect the player, right?
Yep.
Okay, so they have this distance. You're not allowed to move until the guy catches the ball, and then you're allowed to run after him, or he can, fair catch it or down it or whatever. Okay, well, once again, I'll say, riddle me this, Batman. But if you have a punt, you have a whole entire crew of motherfuckers running at a sumbitch that's about to catch a punt, and that's okay. But you're worried about protecting the kicker? You should have been more worried about protecting a fucking punter than you should the kicker. Because at least the kicker's got fucking blockers. Okay? The guy that picks up the punt is like, he's fucking ass out. Because, I mean, you got a whole team of motherfuckers rushing at you, and if a guy don't catch a block, well, then guess what? You got a guy coming at you with a whole fucking head of steam. So who the hell are you trying to protect, or what the hell are you trying to do?
Yeah.
So you'll help the kicker, but yeah, hey, fuck that punt returner. Punt returner, we don't give a fuck if you fuck him up. We could care less.
Well, don't.
And he is the one guy that's more apt to get hurt than anybody else.
Give it time. They'll be protecting, quote unquote, protecting him too.
But does that make sense?
Nope, none of it does. Anyway, till next 2 weeks from now, y'all have a great week. Sorry to cut you out, Dale. We gotta roll out of here. I haven't had dinner yet, so.
I haven't either.
I will.
I'm about to do the same thing.
We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Behave yourself. Tell my daughter you love her.
I loathe her.
And see y'all next.
That's how I love you in my house.
See y'all in 2 weeks. Later, bye. 7-3.